You are watching Platinum Northwest TV News. Good evening and thank you so much for joining us. I'm Philadelphia Mangoeng. Let's take a look at the leading top stories. First up, according to the president, the state is working to include Khoi and Nama languages into the school curriculum. And the South African Police Service Management condemns officers' conduct. In the business news, some relief might be on the cards for motorists come the new year. And in the sports news, South African F1 Grand Prix hits top gear. We begin here. President Cyril Ramaphosa said that the state was working towards the inclusion of the Khoi and Nama languages into the school curriculum. President Ramaphosa made the comment while delivering his address at the Reconciliation Day commemoration in Vredendal in the Western Cape. Now, he also explained that the adoption of the traditional Khoi Leadership Act had given formal recognition to people who were once previously disadvantaged.
The motto of our nation is written in the language of the Kham people. It means diverse people unite. 5 years ago, we signed the Traditional and Khoi Leadership Act into law. This gave formal recognition to Khoi institutions of traditional leadership. And with the support of the Pan-South African Language Board, we have worked to make sure that Khoi, Nama, San languages are offered as part of the school curriculum. Now, this never happened under apartheid. It is only happening now in our democratic South Africa that we all worked and fought for. Our public broadcaster, the South African Broadcasting Corporation, initiated and continues to support station in our country that supports the Khun and the Khoi language of the indigenous San people who originated here and who were the very first inhabitants of South Africa. Through the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture, we are supporting community and civic organizations that are dedicated to preserving the distinct cultural identity and heritage of the Khoi and San people. Since the advent of democracy, we have done much to advance reconciliation and redress. And the cornerstone of our journey as a country is our constitution, on the grondwet. It enshrines human rights and promotes equality for all citizens. It also protects the rights of previously marginalized people. These groups include racial minorities, women, people with disabilities, children, elderly people, the LGBTQIA+ community. This is a stark departure from the exclusionary policies of the past. As part of building a new nation, we established the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, which was chaired by the late Archbishop Desmond Tutu. The commission was tasked with uncovering human rights abuses committed during the apartheid era and providing a platform for those who suffered and those who were victims, as well as perpetrators, to share their stories. This was part of the process of what we call restorative justice. The TRC succeeded in creating a collective historical memory. It helped to ensure that the horrors of apartheid would never be forgotten and that they would never be repeated.
Ramaphosa also urged South Africans to refuse to let their unity be broken.
South Africa has a rich history of inclusive solutions to problems. Today, I announce that we will hold a national dialogue next year to enable a conversation among citizens on shaping our country's future developmental plan. The national dialogue will seek to build on the achievement of 30 years of democracy. This national dialogue will give us an opportunity to address the challenges we've been facing for the past 15 years of low growth and unemployment, of poverty and hunger, of poor governance, slow land reform, and corruption. We will also want the national dialogue to address pressing challenges such as gender-based violence and femicide, social fragmentation, racism, xenophobia, and sexism, and violence and instability. We will want the national dialogue to strengthen and consolidate the process of social compacting, where we come together as different sectors and communities to find common solutions. That the national dialogue will be informed by an extensive public consultation process in local areas organized by various sectors of society. Since the announcement I made on the national dialogue during my inauguration in June of this year, we have received many representations from civil society, including foundations that were established by the stalwarts of our struggle for freedom. Further consultation is currently underway with other formations within society to form the content of the national dialogue. In due course, I will appoint an advisory panel of eminent persons to provide guidance and advice through the national dialogue process. The advisory panel will include men and women of stature who have played prominent roles in nation building as well as in advancing social cohesion. I will also appoint national dialogue steering committee members to coordinate the national dialogue process.
In other news, the South African Police Service Provincial Management in the province condemns in the strongest possible terms an incident doing the rounds on social media platforms wherein an off-duty officer is seen assaulting a member of the public at Rustenburg police station. Now, the occurrence followed an argument that ensued in a barber shop at one of the malls in Rustenburg and involving the police officer, assault victim, and other people on Saturday afternoon, the 14th of December. Following the incident, one of the victims went to the police station to lodge a complaint. Reports suggest that the police officer also went to the police station where he found the complainant at the parking area.
At police station! What police station? Why? Look at me! Why?
Lieutenant Colonel Sam Tsilenyane elaborates.
The South African Police Service Provincial Management in the province condemns in the strongest possible terms an incident doing the rounds on social media platforms wherein an off-duty police officer is seen assaulting a member of the public at Rustenburg Police Station. The occurrence followed an argument that ensued in a barber shop at one of the malls in Rustenburg and involving the police officer, assault victim, and other people on Saturday afternoon, the 14th of December 2024. Following the incident, one of the victims went to the police station to lodge a complaint. Reports suggest that the police officer also went to the police station where he found the complainant at a parking area. Allegedly, he chased the complainant until inside the police station premises and assaulted him. The on-duty police officer swiftly intervened and calmed the situation. The victim consequently opened a case of assault against the member, who also laid a counter charge of assault. Investigation into the matter is underway.
In more news, 27 undocumented children who were found at an abandoned mine in Stilfontein are expected to be sent to the Mozambican consulate today. Now, the Social Development Department in the Northwest Province said that the miners had been placed at a temporary safe shelter after they resurfaced from underground in November. 19 illegal miners were arrested in Stilfontein, now have been sentenced to 24 months, which has been fully suspended. The group appeared before the Stilfontein Magistrates Court last week. Moving on to international news now, South Korean prosecutors on Tuesday told impeached President Yoon to appear by the weekend for questioning over his failed martial law bid or face possible arrest. Yoon, suspended from office by Parliament on Saturday, is being investigated over alleged insurrection by both South Korean prosecutors and a joint team of police, defense ministry, and anti-corruption investigators. The president and some of his inner circle face possible imprisonment or even the death penalty if found guilty. He remains under a travel ban. Now, South Korea's Constitutional Court on Monday began the proceedings against Yoon and has around 6 months to determine whether to uphold his impeachment. Fresh elections must be held within 2 months if his removal is upheld by the Constitutional Court. Now, Prime Minister Han Duck-soo is serving as interim leader in Yoon's stead. Let's take a look now at the business news. In the business news, mid-month data from the Central Energy Fund points to more good news than bad for fuel prices in the country in the new year. As has been the trend for much of December, dual recoveries have been largely balanced, swinging into under-recovery and over-recovery territory as the rand and dollar exchange and global oil markets fluctuate. Now, the current projection sees a possible increase for 93 grade of petrol, while petrol 95 diesel and illuminating paraffin might decrease. The Department of Petroleum and Mineral Resources has noted that its daily snapshots are not predictive and do not encompass other possible modifications, such as slate levy adjustments or the retail margin changes. Now, the department determines these adjustments considering various factors at the end of the month. So far in December, oil prices are leaning in favor of lower prices, contributing to an over-recovery. The relatively weaker rand-dollar exchange is pushing the under-recovery. And that's all from the business news. Your sports update follows next. In sporting news now, South Africa's ambition to host a Formula One race is moving into top gear, with an announcement of a bid steering committee expected on Wednesday. The Minister of Sports, Arts, Culture and Recreation, Gayton McKenzie, is expected to announce South Africa's Formula One bid steering committee at the Kyalami pre-circuit in Midrand in Gauteng. Now, McKenzie earlier this month said that South African F1 Grand Prix will take place at Kyalami. Several current F1 drivers, including 7-time F1 world champion Lewis Hamilton, have called for the sport to return to South Africa. However, there might be a span in the works, with Rwanda formally bidding to host an F1 race in Kigali. President Paul Kagame announced the country's decision last week.
I'm happy to formally announce that Rwanda is bidding to bring the thrill of racing back to Africa by hosting Formula One Grand Prix. A big thank you to Stefano Domenicali and the entire team at Formula One for the good progress in our discussions so far. I assure you that we are approaching this opportunity with the seriousness and commitment which it deserves.
Moving on to soccer news now, South African national team captain Ronwen Williams was crowned the best goalkeeper on the continent after being voted #1 in the Goalkeeper of the Year category at the 2024 CAF Awards. Now, the 32-year-old helped his club Mamelodi Sundowns set a joint record low of just 11 goals conceded in 30 games in the South African Premiership as they eased to a 7th domestic league title succession, which won him the Men's Interclub Player of the Year award. Now, Nigeria forward Ademola Lookman was named CAF Men's Player of the Year after a sensational 12 months with the Italian side Atalanta, and the Nigeria's Super Eagles followers in the footsteps of compatriot Victor Osimhen, who claimed the award in 2023. Cote d'Ivoire's Continental Crown saw them named Men's National Team of the Year, while Nigeria's Super Falcons were the Women's National Team of the Year. Al Ahly's 4th Total Energies CAF Champions League win in 5 years made them worthy winners of the Men's Club of the Year, while TP Mazembe took home the Women's Club of the Year. And that's where we're going to have to leave it for tonight. Thank you so much for watching. Till tomorrow again, good night and take care.